Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody with a brand new beat.
Wow, that's a new one.
Hello, everybody with a brand new beat.
Okay.
We are here on the street. I have to come up with a better one.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to cut this. Hi, everyone. Say hi to Pedro and Morgan. They are both here. Pedro has his mic, but he kind of got away from it.
Yeah, he's a Velcro dog.
Yeah. So, Morgan, you went to Disneyland yesterday. Again.
Did. Yeah. We bought those California resident tickets, so it makes it a lot cheaper to go. It's like $60 a ticket versus what feels like $160 a ticket.
$4 million a ticket.
It's gotten a little crazy. They raised parking again. I'm just like, oh my God. So we went to Disney as like a nice little reset day. And then I went to the dentist and I have a cavity. So I'm going back to the dentist on Thursday. So it's just, one of those weeks.
Did you find your way to get introduced into Club 33?
No, not yet.
So anyone out there, Morgan is really trying to see what Club 33 is all about.
Yeah, if we have any listeners, any family friends that want to let me go have dinner there. Me and Justin.
She wants to enjoy the experience.
I do. I think it'd be so fun to
really see what it is.
Just peek behind the curtain one time.
I got a badge that said Club 33.
That's pretty crazy.
That was crazy enough.
Okay.
What do you have for us for write-ins? What'd you get? What'd you find? Anything good? Any good stories?
So the theme I have for us today is kind of like you've got the right idea. You're on the right track, but you just might need a little extra boost or a little love from dad to get you there.
Okay. So I just want you to know that I did yesterday have a discussion regarding, we've been talking about addiction and, as a family member, how do you deal with it? And so I did talk to an expert yesterday and they said Al-Anon. So if anyone has had some of this stuff going on in their life, apparently there is an avenue that you can look into.
Yeah, that's AA.
No, it's not AA.
Yeah, it stands for AA.
Al-Anon?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was Alcoholic Anonymous as AA.
ALANON.
Correct, but that's not.
So a lot of people refer to that as AA now for everything.
Oh,
so
really?
Depending on what you need it for, whether it's gambling, alcohol, regardless, there's a bunch of different AA, Al-Anon type groups for whatever you need.
So I thought that was great information, and I wanted to share it along.
Yeah. I know it's typically been associated with Alcoholics Anonymous, but there's a variety of those same groups out there for no matter what you need.
And they're also, and this was, the point that I was trying to make sure that it was there for was to help the family, not so much the person that was, having the addiction issue. It was the family and how to handle it within themselves to function the best that they can function with this stress going on in their life.
I always think finding a support group can be so, so useful. Whether it's grief, I think a grief group, I've seen people just come out the other side of those so much more healed than they ever thought they would be. So it's always great to look into a group and find others that are going through similar circumstances as you. It can really help.
I know that Pedro had a traumatic experience today because he was going to go check out the horses. So the sweet horses just took their little snouts. They went right down to him, and he was kind of going up to sniff them and see if I thought they were going to, kiss each other. And next thing I know is Pedro backed up and started barking.
Yeah, he was really out there yapping. I'm trying to find stories for you guys, and all I hear is rah, 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 nonstop. Rah, 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 rah. Yeah, he's having a good time. Okay, let's just scoot you over so I can read.
You're not scooting anywhere. All right, let's start it off.
Let's do it.
You're in my seat.
I am. While the dog is very, very, very cute, he smells terribly. And I started gagging, you guys. I couldn't sit next to him. So
That's not very nice.
he really stinks.
I don't smell it.
Well, your sense of smell has diminished with your age and wisdom. So it's just, it's there. It's definitely there.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Oh, Pedro. We're going to have to we're going to make sure that you are bathed next time.
He looks super soft too. It's very deceiving. You think, oh, he's so fluffy and soft.
He is soft.
No.
He is fluffy and soft.
No, stinks. But here we go. We are getting back on track with the right idea.
All right. What do you got?
Story number 1. I need some advice on how to handle my boyfriend's family. Here's some backstory. My boyfriend and I have been together for 3 years. He is the sweetest man I know, and I truly could not ask for better. My boyfriend's younger brother, we'll call him David, got married a couple of years ago. Him and his wife, Jessa, now have a little girl. Jessa has mentioned that she wants quite a few kids, and I have good reason to believe she is pregnant again. My boyfriend, however, we'll call him Joe, has a third-generation name. We both agree we would love to use this name for our future son, as it was his grandfather's, his dad's, and now his, my boyfriend's name. The issue is we both agree we don't want kids right now, as we are still in our 20s and not ready to take that on. Should Jessa have a boy, I have good reason to believe she will use the family name, as it is sentimental, and she would be having the first grandson in the family. I can't help but feel afraid that Jessa will A, have the first grandson in the family, she already had the first grandchild, and B, name her child the sentimental name I so desperately want to use in the future. How do I handle not feeling envious of Jessa getting all the attention for having the first grandchild? And how do I not feel annoyed that she will most likely be using my boyfriend's generational name for her child? Thanks in advance for the advice. Backstory, Jessa and David have both previously referenced liking the family name. Ideal outcome, to just be happy that Jessa had the first grandbaby and not be jealous about it, and to come to peace over her naming her child the name I've wanted to use for years.
You know, asking me this thought is difficult because I may have a different view what's important than what you have as what's important. And because I may have a view of saying, you know, nature always has the universe always has a wonderful way of taking its course and bringing us the magic, and leave our faith in the universe to see what happens. They may or may not engage to take that name. You know, they may have another daughter and they might want to call their daughter Joe. I'm not really certain what's going to happen. But if you are committed that you really want to use that name, then you use that name when you have your child, if they have it or not. I mean, you can certainly say, you know, I don't know what your plan is, but since my husband's name is Joe and we want to keep it going down the next generation the same way, are you okay to go a different direction? Or if you are, I just want you to know that we are probably going to do the same thing. You know, we've certainly have had write-ins where people use the same name in their family, and they come up with a different, you know, nickname, be it Skip or whatever it might be. You know, you just have to do what's right for you and let them do what's right for them, and not really bring on any hostilities because of something like this. And that's the part you don't want to do, is you don't want to introduce other hostilities and other issues within the family over this, where it just seems to always work out when people do that. I mean, I've seen families where everyone in the world that and they've had a lot of children, they call each kid the same name, but however, they end up getting their own nickname or their own following somehow. It works out. So my advice to you, if you were my kid and I was the grandfather of all this, I would say just not worry about it. Let's see where it goes. I mean, you can certainly have a nice conversation with her and say, just it's a concern. I'm not going to let it, destroy our relationship. I just want to make sure that you're aware that we're going to probably want to do the same thing with this name because of my husband's name.
Yeah. And I think it needs to be brother to brother. You guys are in-laws, you're kind of have this degree of separation. It really needs to be your boyfriend, Joe, whose name this is, going to his brother and saying, hey, this is my name. I will be using it if I have a son. So be prepared. If that's a name you decide to use, we will have cousins with the same name. And the thing is that, this other girl might not understand just because she chooses to name that baby, her baby, if it's a boy and whatever, that same name, it doesn't mean she has the fourth. It's not Joe the fourth because that's not how it works. It would just be Joe.
I was going down that path next.
So
I'm glad you said
think maybe that's a conversation you and your boyfriend have. So then your boyfriend can go to his brother and be like, hey, just so you know, you just have Joe. I'm Joe the third because it's a direct line. My son will be Joe the fourth, but you will just have Joe. Just want to make that clear. Because that could be a draw to this, and it could be a big part of the reason why they want to use the name, but it doesn't work like that.
And I thought your idea of letting the brothers have the conversation is the best thing. That keeps the ladies out of this direct fire.
Yeah, and the thing is, I'm very curious, what your dynamic is with her, because it is kind of odd. I know it's a family name. I fully get it's a family name, but it's also your boyfriend's name. It's not her husband's name.
Right. If her husband's name, what was her husband's name? They said
David.
So they can certainly make it David Jr.
I don't know. It's just, it's interesting. I could see wanting to honor your father-in-law with a middle name, but I think it's weird to take your husband's brother's name. But that's just me. I'm very weirdly, names are so important to me and so powerful for me that I do understand your feelings of envy, but you are on the right track of I don't want to be jealous. I just want to move past in a positive way. And I think really having a conversation with your boyfriend and letting him take care of it is best, because also you guys are just dating. You're not engaged. You're not married yet. So it's really protecting the name for him.
What is the family name? It's the last name. It's not the first name. It's the family name is the last name.
Typically, but if you have a tradition to name the son from that line as Joe, that is a family name that has meaning within the family. So that could be a family name.
That's right, but it will not follow to be Joe the second or Joe third because
it's a broken line.
That's right.
It doesn't work like that. And maybe Jessa doesn't get that. So I would have a conversation with your boyfriend, let him go and talk to his brother. But moving on.
Okay, we're going to go for number 2.
Number 2. Hi, Jerry, Morgan, and Justin, and anyone else there today. I am 32 and recently moved in with my parents. It's a great decision overall. They wanted to move to the area I live. We found a great place with 4 acres for us, my horses, and we've had some settling pains, but so far it's been great. My only issue is my dad will not stop feeding my dogs treats, human food, etc. I buy and give him the healthy treats that they can have, but he continues to feed them other human food. I'm absolutely not opposed to giving the animals human food, but I always research what foods are okay and healthy to eat and avoid high-fat, salty, etc. food. My dad has no consideration of this and will set down every plate he finishes to let them lick clean, plus tosses them lots of chips, fatty meat, sugary food. I had to explain why he could absolutely not set down the rotisserie chicken carcass for them. I have repeatedly told him to stop. One of my dogs is a Chihuahua mix and really little. He's prone to obesity and all the issues that follow that. Tonight, I walked into the kitchen to a bowl on the floor with mint ice cream with chocolate chips.
I was waiting for that.
When I confronted my dad asking if this was chocolate, he got defensive and denied it. I'm at my wit's end. I don't know how to express the severity of this and set absolute boundaries right now. Despite him being my parent, I'm an eldest daughter, so I'm comfortable asserting myself and expressing boundaries. He's just not taking it seriously or listening to me. From a clearly more emotionally mature dad to an exhausted daughter, I could use some advice.
Well, I'm glad you consider me an emotionally, would they say mature?
Yeah.
Boy. I was sitting here thinking right before you said that I'm going to ask Morgan, how I would handle this, but knowing that's a wild card, I didn't know I wanted to do that.
What would you do?
When it comes to stuff that you tell me, I think that I legitimately respect your wishes.
You do. So what do you do with a parent that is just not getting the message?
It's really difficult when people don't respect one another.
Yeah, this is a different level of not respecting what you're asking too.
You and I have a way of communicating where I recognize that you're an adult and I recognize that you have your way of doing things. And I'm okay by saying, I can chill out and I can back up and respect that boundary.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody can do that. And what do you do about those people? I think you just have to really sit down and say, look, we are all adults now. And I know you still think I'm your daughter and I may not know what I'm talking about, but I'm really asking you, as you would want me to respect you and what you're doing, I'm pleading with you to respect me in this one.
Yeah.
What is the accountability if they don't respect it? That's the tough one because you guys made a choice to move in together.
Yeah.
And you can't kick him out and he can't kick you out. You're in this game.
No, I have a few crafty solutions here, okay?
I'm waiting for it.
You really need to sit down and really, really hammer this home one last time that my dogs do not get people food. They don't. They don't get chocolate. They don't get grapes. They don't get XYZ. They don't get people food. Here are the treats you can give them. If you choose to disregard what I'm asking you, and if you disrespect me and my boundaries for my dogs, whatever happens, you are responsible for. So if you put another rotisserie chicken down and my dog eats the bones and those bone shards start poking holes in their intestines, you will be responsible for the vet bill.
And if the dog dies?
And if the dog dies, then that is so tragic.
Mm-hmm.
And the sad part when you get that far is you could say, Dad, you owe me the cost of the dog. But how do you quantify that? You can't.
That
Losing your dog, it doesn't work. But you can say, hey, like you are going to be responsible for any vet bills. Or if you really want to be safe rather than sorry, you could keep your dogs in your room when you're gone so that they're not loose and unobserved by you with your dad.
And what is worse for a dad? What's the bigger threat? You're going to pay for the vet bill or you're going to never hear the end of it from me if something happens to that dog?
So here's the thing. Like
what's the worst one?
I mean, probably never going to hear the end of it, but here's the thing. So there's an influencer who this just happened with. This influencer had this beautiful, beautiful dog. I think it was a white Pomeranian, just gorgeous. It was her best friend. And she had told her parents again and again and again, but especially her dad, because her dad kept disrespecting her boundaries on the dog.
Mm-hmm.
And she told the dad, please do not let the dog outside by themselves. Like you have to go with the dog. Please don't let the dog outside by itself.
And he did.
And he did.
And the dog
he
got
watched
killed.
the dog got killed by a coyote.
Mm-hmm.
And she's done. She's done with her dad. She does not want a relationship. Or, at the time of the video I saw, it was like, I can't right now. This is not okay. I'm hurt. He didn't respect me.
Mm-hmm.
And he's so sorry now, but I told him, I warned him and he didn't listen to me. So, you could pull up YouTube videos
And let him watch it.
and let him watch that and, let a vet tell him you can't feed dogs these foods. You have to be careful with dogs. And if he still doesn't listen, you could Photoshop a vet bill and say, hey, you're responsible for this. Is it a white lie? Yeah. Will it maybe shock him into respecting you if he has to pay a vet bill? Yeah. Some people would call that manipulative.
I would.
Honestly, though, that might be a step you take in order to say, hey, this is the vet bill for my dog and him getting his stomach pumped because he ate bad things. And you could say, just kidding, but this is what it would look like. I don't know. I don't know what it takes for some people to get it through their head.
I realize, Morgan, that we all want to be able to communicate as adults and mature. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not one to throw threats out to make someone scared in doing the right thing. I always try to make sure we have a conversation that we say, hey, I would really appreciate this, and I would hope that you will go along with me on it. And it's going to be as important to you because I know at the end of the day, your dad loves you. No different than you love your dad. But you guys really have to find the way to communicate well on a consistent basis, both ways, consistently, that you guys are going to respect one another and your boundaries.
Yeah, and this is just unfortunate. I don't know why some people's parents do this. Some people think, oh, they deserve it. They deserve that little food. They just, I mean, yeah, I know certain people in my life, Justin's family, that they struggle with giving dogs human food. And
you're not supposed to.
You're not supposed to. There's different greases and cooking oils, and it's just not.
Their bodies, as if you've raised them domestically and you've raised them with these right foods, their bodies really don't jump into the other stuff real easily. You're changing their diet drastically.
Well, and there's certain foods that are actually so toxic to them, like a grape.
Chocolate. Yeah,
a
grapes
grape.
Like, kill it.
I mean, a walnut. Like if they get in, so it's not worth it. So I don't know if you're out there listening and you've had to deal with this with a parent, what really worked? Was it finally getting a vet bill? Was it, keeping the dog crated or in your room when you weren't home? Because that does suck. Like if the dad is home and you can leave the dog out and the dog can get more social interaction, like how great is that? But if he's going to continue to disrespect and feed it, it's safer for the dog if it's in your room. So,
what do you think about that, Pedro?
Keep us posted. We really want to know how you worked this one out. And again, anyone out there, please chime in. Please chime in, because this one, I read this and I was enraged. I was seeing red.
Okay.
But moving along.
Number 3. Did you see my finger?
Oh my God. What'd you do this time?
Stupidity.
Did you get it on a cheese grater?
Kind of like, yeah. Something similar.
It seems like something you would do.
Yeah. You were there. You would have made sure it didn't happen. You would have been there.
I am all about safety in the kitchen, y'all.
Yep. You would. I would not have this if you would have been there.
I think you need to change your bandage. It doesn't.
If I take it off, it will bleed again. So right now we're going to let it.
Okay, you might need to go get stitches.
You can't get a stitch the way this one happened.
Okay. Anyways, number 3. Number 3. I'm having trouble deciding on whether to stay with my partner of almost 9 years. We are now 27 female and 29 male. Technically, we've been broken up since September when I took all of his clothes out of our apartment because I found evidence of him cheating on me. Embarrassing to admit, it wasn't the first time. So he's cheated on me multiple times. The first incident was about 3 years before we had our son. He had met up with a girl that he had a fling with in high school. According to him, they never did anything, but I have my doubts. Around the same time, he had downloaded apps like Tinder and other dating apps. Then, to my knowledge, he hadn't cheated on me or anything since that incident. So I forgave him and we moved on. We did have other relationship issues because he had health concerns that he wasn't addressing and because the roles in our household were hard to decipher, but we pushed through. At the end of 2020, I found out I was pregnant with my second child. his first. And throughout my pregnancy, everything was okay. Even the first few months of postpartum, everything was seemingly okay. But after a couple of months, we started bickering a lot. His sickness got worse to the point where he had lost a significant amount of weight. I'd gone through a couple of deaths in my family, and I also had to put my career on pause to be able to dedicate more time to my newborn and my older child. I was a stay-at-home mom for a while. I don't want to bore you all with the details, but the point is that I was going through a lot, and I was alone even though I was in a relationship. I wasn't getting the support I needed from him, and he cheated on me again when I was around 4 months postpartum, and then again a couple of months later. In all honesty, I also cheated on him, just to give you a reference to the timeline. This brings us to the end of summer 21. We had decided to reconcile and forgive since I wasn't in a stable situation. I had just recently started to work full time again. I decided to stay, and I was hoping that the relationship would work. But then you fast forward 3 years, September 2024, and he cheated on me again. And if I'm being honest, throughout those 3 years, I found dating apps on his phone multiple times. I would confront him and we would fight. And again, the fear of being a single mom and the hope that he would change kept me there. Ever since I kicked him out, we've been going back and forth trying to work on things, but I just never feel satisfied. We've both been doing individual therapy and we're trying couples therapy for a second time, but even with couples therapy, I'm more focused on finding a stable co-parenting relationship than recovering our romantic relationship. It's hard because I don't want to feel like I'm letting my family down, but I just have so much rage and anger towards my partner that it's hard for me to fully commit to him. In the bottom of my heart, I really just don't feel like I want to be in this relationship. I'm very scared to start over on my own, and I'm scared of not being able to provide for my children. I'm 1 year away from graduating with my master's in social work, but that's still a whole year where I can't really work full time because of the commitment to the school and internships and everything else. I just don't know what the right thing to do is. Ideal outcome, I'm afraid that if I don't have some kind of commitment to him, that he is not going to support me. I want to be able to finish my last year of my master's program and have a good, supportive co-parenting relationship.
I think you're better off to say, look, let's face the fact where we're at, and we are not getting back together, but you have a responsibility as a parent. I want you to be involved in your child's life, and we have to figure this out. Some people say I have to stay in the relationship so I have security. That's the wrong reason to be in a relationship. Give him the fact we're done, and that way you have the freedom to go on with your life. He takes on his responsibility that he's going to have some child support. She's got child support, hopefully from the first father, or she should get it by laws of the state. I mean, they put these laws in effect that they're supposed to work. And child support is one that definitely has to work. I mean, I know that your mom went through it with your biological father, and I know there was good times and there was tough times, but the bottom line is he never escaped the responsibility.
Yeah, he did. And I think even when I turned 18, there was still a pretty significant amount. I know they went so far as to garner wages and take money from tax returns. And, there's ways you can go about it, but the reality is a lot of that takes time. Some moms do not get support regardless of if it's court ordered and the money never comes, or they lie about money and, I made $0. Meanwhile, they got paid thousands of dollars in cash under the table.
There's games.
There are so many games, and it can be so hard. So even if you have the system and the system works right and correct as it should, it can sometimes still fail.
We all have thoughts and opinions, and doesn't make one person right or one person wrong. But I really do believe that you have to go on with your life and not keep investing in this person. It is definite that this person does not have the depth of love and respect for you that you would want for someone in a relationship to have, especially a father of your child. You want your children to grow up knowing that the male figure in their life or your mate loves you and respects you, and not to perpetuate. Is that the right word?
Mm-hmm.
That this whole other dynamic and the insecurity that it all brings within a family unit. I mean, there's so many negatives that you can come up with for doing what is not truth, that is not healthy emotionally long-term. I believe it's not healthy long-term for a child. Now, everyone else may have a different view, but I've always believed that the truth prevails. And that's just the way I would lead it. I would live it and make sure that I can get them to pay the responsible thing, but to keep clarity and honesty within your children, that's the value that they learn and not the manipulation for the survival, that you will survive in a different way if you put your mind to it and your actions to it.
I don't know too. I think this is something that has been so interesting to me through some write-ins and Reddit stories and just, conversations, but I don't know why there is such a negative connotation with single mom and being a single mom, and it's almost viewed like it's a failure in a way. And I actually think the opposite. My mom was a single mom for a majority, my dad, Jerry, came in and stepped in, but, then he moved when I was in 8th grade, and my mom, again, did it all by herself again. Like, she's got 3 kids, 3 different dads, but kept roofs over all of our heads, kept us fed, we had clothes. It is so much harder to be a single mom. So why is it looked at in such a negative or like it's a failure? You're putting yourself first and your kids first. It is so impressive, and it just shows so much strength for your kids. You know what you deserve. You know what you're not willing to put up with. And you're going to demonstrate even healthier, even better relationships. There's a line here in your additional info that I just want to read. I also mentioned the fact that my older child has a different father biologically because her father walked out a year after she was born and was inconsistent from day one. So I carry a lot of guilt not making things work with my current partner because I feel like I'm letting my daughter down again, and I'm letting my son down. And it's just very disheartening knowing that I brought 2 children into this world and they don't have a home with 2 parents because of decisions that I've made. They don't need a perfect home with 2 parents. They just need you, a loving, strong, supportive parent who keeps them safe, shows them what good love looks like. And yeah, they're still going to hopefully have a relationship with their dad, but it doesn't need to be this one that's in front of them that is toxic and unhealthy.
Agreed.
You're a year away from finishing school, master's in social work. That is amazing. You're so close. So if you have to sit down and have a conversation with him and say, you know what, I'm a year away from finishing school. Let's find a situation that works for us. Living together, co-parenting. It's clear we just don't work as a couple. This serial cheating is just not healthy. We both deserve to find our people. I have a year left of school. How can we make this work?
I love that. I love that approach.
And if he doesn't get on board, then you might have to really look into other options, whether it's, moving in with family or I don't know. It's so hard because as a former grad school student, I know the grind you are in and the internships and all the hours and the studying and probably taking your boards after you're graduating. So I see where you're at. And if he doesn't accommodate that, then we're really going to have to get back in and dive deeper into solutions. But I'd start there.
And what I see is, how is this different? I think that what you just proposed is a wonderful solution because it's just open and honest. So if he wants to date other people, he wants the dating sites, Say, dude, you're welcome to your dating sites. You're welcome to date. But for right now, for the next year, we are going to live together. And yeah, we're not going to be sleeping in the same bed, but we're going to be co-parents.
Yeah. And honestly, child support, if he's not going to get on board, he is still that child's parent and child support. And same for your first child. That father should be paying child support. They shouldn't be able to just walk away. That's not how life works. You are responsible for this child.
Mm-hmm.
So you should get support that you are rightfully owed. And it's not just you, it's the fact that your kid is rightfully owed that support.
Mm-hmm.
That is to make their life better and easier. And even if that's money you don't want to use, you should be collecting it and putting it in a fund for your child then. It's their money for college, but that is rightfully owed to them.
And that approach is pure honesty, and it works. It's direct. It's literally structured, and I like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's easier. And it's easier on the guy. He gets to do whatever the hell he wants. If
Some people don't work like that though. Mentally, they just are cuckoo.
Well, I look at it being a very respectful solution to a really tough situation.
Hopefully he sees it that way. But again, keep us posted.
Absolutely. Okay. Number 4.
Trigger warning on this next one. It does include talks of loss, cancer. So please skip if you can't handle that today. Number 4. Hi, before I start, I just want to give you a big thanks for all the work Morgan, Justin, and you have done with Two Hot Takes and Father Knows. Your takes have helped me so much in the year I've been listening to you guys. Now, on to my issue. My friend from high school is struggling at the moment because her older sister just died of cancer. I'm having difficulty knowing how to talk to her the correct way, I guess. I know there is nothing I can say to relieve the loss she is experiencing. Although I've never experienced a loss so close to me, I would hate it if someone told me, quote, she's in a better place, or she doesn't have to suffer anymore. How can I be there for my friend in a way that is not insensitive, but also strong enough to let her know I'm there for her? Also, I feel guilty for the good that is happening in my life right now when someone close to me is experiencing death. I don't know if I should tone down my activity on social media or keep quiet because it just doesn't seem fair. Ideal outcome? My ideal outcome is that I can be there for her in an appropriate way during this difficult time.
I wouldn't hide from the respect that of what her sister has meant to her, and just be a friend. I mean, the reality is that her sister did pass. I mean, she realizes that. It's no different than anyone that has suffered grief by a loss of a family member. To deny that it happened is even worse than the fact that it did happen and that you're here for them. I mean, that's really what it is. I mean, I have friends that lost their son in tragic accidents. I'm not ignoring the fact that this person existed and it's important and he was a part of all of our lives. But we do deal with the reality that, we move on, we go forward.
Yeah, I don't think it's anything that you want to ignore or sweep under the rug. I think oftentimes early on in stages of grief, like distraction or just going to a movie together and being there with her, doing something can be really impactful. But also just telling her straight up, I don't want to push you, but I just want you to know that I'm here for anything that you may need, whether you want to go on a drive or go to a movie or talk. Let me know.
Yeah, I just wouldn't dismiss the fact that her sister was a major part of her life. And if you knew her sister when she was a part of your life, that's something to have a common bond with, that we can share with, that we both miss this person. And she was great and never diminished the importance or the validity of that this person was in life, because even in death, they're still a part of your life. They're part of your existence and who you are and the way you think and the way you process. They had significance.
Mm-hmm.
And I would never go to the part where they are insignificant.
No. And it can be awkward too. I know for me, like, I have a friend and it can feel awkward at times because, like, you don't want to mention it and then hurt their feelings, or, you know, you don't want to talk about your happy thing and then it feels like distasteful because of their loss and everything they're going through. But just be a friend. I think especially early on, it's just so important to show that you're there, and she can talk to you. She can come to you. She can ask you to hang out, and you're not going to treat her differently, or you're not going to make her feel weird. You know, showing you cares is what matters
Really,
most.
and don't have to focus on her. If she brings her up, or there's a thought, you can certainly bring a kind thought and a memory that you had, or something that you experienced together. Yeah, the last thing that I would ever want not to do, or I mean, I would never do, is diminish their existence. You know, it's very, very real, but I wouldn't push anything down their throat. I would let them lead the way also in some of the conversation, but don't run from it.
No, and I know we're going to have some listeners out there who may have been the friend or may have lost someone, and I'd love to hear what helped you the most, especially if you've lost someone. Like, what is it that someone did for you that really made you feel good? You know, I know it's kind of one of the typical things, and maybe it's a Minnesota thing, but I feel like it's an everywhere thing where you bring over a hot dish or lasagna, or you bring over food. And that's really nice for a family early on, because the last thing you want to do is cook and make meals for yourself. But, you know, bring over flowers or a card, or, you know, gift cards can feel good. So regardless, you know, I'd love to hear things that have helped you guys. I one that just came to mind is, like, maybe asking her if she'd want to make a quilt of her sister's t-shirts. And that might be too soon, but, like, that's something I would find meaningful. My aunt gave me a pillow of one of my grandma's flannel shirts that she always wore. So that was really nice to get. Just, you know, just be there. So I'm sure people are going to chime in the comments with a bunch of really good ideas. So be sure to check those out, but keep us posted.
There you go. Number 5.
Moving on to number 5. Hi, Father Knows Something. I've been a longtime listener and truly appreciate the advice shared on this podcast. My dad passed away when I was 5 years old, so it's been comforting to feel part of the community you, Morgan, and Justin have built. Now on to my story. I'm 29 female and have been dating my boyfriend Jack, 31 male, for 5 years. Before meeting Jack, I was in an abusive relationship. Being with Jack has been a completely different and healthy experience. The healthiest relationship I've ever had. We're deeply connected and our communication is amazing. However, there's one recurring issue. Jack's ex, Brittany. She's blocked on all platforms, social media, phone, everything except she can still email him. Jack made the decision to block her as a boundary because she was verbally abusive to him during their relationship. She also burned many bridges in her personal life and ruined his credit score. Even though he paid for everything while encouraging her to pursue her art career, she is very manipulative. After their breakup, he blocked her and moved on, and then we started dating. For context, I never asked him to block her. This was entirely his choice. In the 5 years we've been together, Brittany has emailed Jack 3 times. Each email has been unsolicited, giving life updates and asking to see his dog because she misses it, and even sending old photos of them together. Jack has always been honest with me and shows me every email she sends. He never responds, explaining it's a door he has no interest in reopening. While I trust Jack and appreciate his honesty, I feel disrespected by Brittany's persistence. I don't understand how someone can't take the hint when they've been blocked everywhere. For context, I'm friends with one of my exes, but I would never dream of sending old photos or reaching out in a way that could undermine his current relationship. It comes down to a respect thing. What's frustrating is that Brittany seems to always have ulterior motives. My question to you is this. Should Jack send her an email clearly stating he does not want to have any communication with her, or is it better for him to continue ignoring her entirely? Thank you so much for the advice.
My vote is don't give them the inch. Just stay far clear of it and ignore whatever comes in. Don't let them know that they're penetrating the veil. Soon as he goes up and says, "Don't contact with me," it automatically, that's contact in itself. And I'm sure people will disagree with this thought. I'm not saying that my way is the only way. It's just the way that I believe in my experience.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's worth it. It's kind of one of those things that, like, I understand why it is annoying to you. It's weird. I don't think he needs to say anything, but I think he can block her on the email. I think, like, don't even let those emails come in anymore. Can she create another email if she's really that desperate and wants to reach out? Yeah. But the bottom line is you have a great relationship. You have a great partner, one that is honest with you and communicates when she reaches out. So let the girl be goofy. She's trying to worm her way in. She's looking for a door, a hole in your relationship, and she's not getting it. And she'll find her next person and hopefully finally leave your boyfriend alone. But I wouldn't even give her the satisfaction of a response. I think it's just a waste of time and energy. So block her on the email, and if she then continues to reach out, you might reevaluate then. But
I mean, you can certainly, all that email that comes from that person, you can report to spam, and it goes right into your spam folder. You never even see it.
Yeah.
That's the way I would do it. I mean, I would never let that person know that they've had any entrance, period.
No. And I've heard it's good to get a new email every couple of years. So maybe there's that.
Okay. That's number 5. Are we going to have a 6?
Yes, we have a number 6. Hi, family. I don't know who else to go to, so here I am. I, 20 female, am struggling mentally with trying to help my dad, 45 male. My dad is the light of my life. I am unapologetically a daddy's girl. With that being said, I want to help my dad hand and foot with whatever he needs.
You feel that way?
Some days.
Not every day.
He's struggling right now. Since before I was born, he's been a jockey. It is his passion. My mom was also a jockey, so I dove headfirst into the family business and adore the horses. Within the past couple of years, my dad's career has been tanking. Not because he's bad at his job. He's easily one of the best riders I've ever come across in my entire life, and not because he's my dad. But it's tanking, and he's having a hard time with money. I try and fork in a few $100 every week, but I also have bills I have to pay. He's made the smart decision to move to a different racetrack, and while I'm sad about it, I want what's best for him. He's mentally not doing okay. He gives his all to everyone, and in return, he gets screwed over. He doesn't have money for a new car, which he definitely needs, but refuses to acknowledge, and he has rent to pay where he lives down here, and then rent at the other racetrack he's going to. He won't allow me to help him find a good place or help him get a new car, and it's even a fight to have him accept the money I send him. I've thought about picking up another job, but I work from 4 a.m. to 2 p.m., and I'm genuinely burnt out from working and only get a day off every other week. I don't know what else to do. Any advice would help tremendously.
How does she help her dad? I think that, the fact that he himself has made some movement to go try different tracks, and he's trying to answer his own things. I mean, you can only help whatever you can help. That A, he's willing to accept, and B, what you can afford. I mean, life is a struggle, and I understand, everyone wants to help each other when it's in family. But I think the best thing you can do is probably try to help him, find the work that he can keep his pride, because that's one of his big things right now is his pride.
Yeah.
And so don't minimize his desire for that. try to let him know you're aware of it, and you're here to do whatever you can. And if you find a different job for him, you can say, "Hey, Dad, I found this. Let's go check it out. Let's get in the car and let's go." And that's how you really can probably help him, is find him the alternatives that he can still have his pride and also get the success he needs so he can afford to live and eat and do what he has to do.
Yeah. So I live in a horse neighborhood near LA, and a big thing in my community is people needing help getting their horses out and exercised. A lot of people are busy professionals, and there's the Los Angeles Equestrian Center that has a bunch of boarders, and there's riding stables. There's huge horse communities. There's Hanson Dam, the Hanson Dam Equestrian Center, Shadow Hills. I need help every week. I'm super busy, and I always want to ensure that my horses are getting enough exercise and getting out there. So I have a guy. His name is Francisco, and Francisco is a jockey and racehorse trainer, and he comes and rides my horses for me. And I pay Francisco $50 a ride. And a ride is, at least 35 minutes. Sometimes it's an hour, but I pay him $50 a ride. And I'm not sure what your dad is making, on the track. I know some jockeys can make as little as $20 a ride. I know it can be as good as $1,000. I don't know. But I'm just saying, like, based on your story and, him tanking, as you call it.
There's alternatives.
And there's so many horse communities. Like, I don't know what track you're near, if it's Santa Anita, Del Mar, or if you're in Florida, you're on the East Coast. I'm not sure where you are. I'd love to know. So please send us an email or resubmit a form with your email so we can reach out. But there's horse communities everywhere, and people want good riders, good trainers, people that are willing to have patience with their horses and treat them well and get them out and get them exercised. So it might be a little bit of a pivot. It could be such a lucrative business decision for him to pivot and still be involved with horses.
Absolutely.
And have that love and that passion, and maybe even like his job more. I mean, for you to work and you have one day off every 2 weeks, you are grinding. That is a lot of work. And riding horses is physically laborious work. So it might be a good fit for him to move to more of a training side or exercising ride for regular folks, and not those high-strung thoroughbreds.
I think the real answer, you really came down the right path, was get out of his own way from exactly what he's been doing, and migrate his talents to be able to be utilized by people that might need him for down the same path, working with horses, but certainly a new way of generating revenue.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's a great plan. I think that was brilliant.
And I will tell you, like, my guy Francisco, he is booked and busy. Like, when I go out and ride, every time I see him, he's on a different horse. He is riding so many people's horses in our community. So it's definitely needed.
Can I ask you a question? When you see him riding down the street on a different horse, is he smiling?
Always. He loves it.
There you go.
He trains little babies. He kept some of his little baby racehorses at our house a couple weeks ago. So
I think it's wonderful, and I think that's a great approach. We'd love to hear this. I think that was brilliant.
Keep us posted. I really want to know. And honestly,
daughter knows something.
Yeah. This is a very niche one, and I didn't even pick this one. Justin popped it in here, so it's just funny how small of a world we live in and the connections we can all have. So I love it.
So guys, there it is. That's number 6.
No.
We got a number 7.
That
means we've been kicking through these things.
Or I'm just really nice.
You are probably both.
Okay, number 7. This one does talk a little bit about losing a parent in a traumatic way and just kind of experiencing that loss young. So if you can't handle that, please end the episode here, and we really appreciated having you guys. But last but not least, Hi, Dad, Morgan, and any other FKS crew on today. I'm writing in today because when I was 8, my father passed away in front of me, and it's something I've never really recovered from. Right now, I'm about to be 23, and I'm feeling objectively lost in life. I don't really know how to do much. I've been living on my own, but I'm in so much debt from times I was struggling. I really wish I could truly ask my dad for help and know what to do, but he's not here anymore to ask. My mom and I are not on good terms, and I don't feel I can trust her with my problems, nor could she help solve pretty much any, as I feel I got most of my bad habits from her. Not that I'm not to be held accountable for my own actions. Either way, I guess I'm just looking for some fatherly advice on where to go, how to deal with crippling depression that has almost hospitalized me 3 times, and what I can do to honor my dad truly. Thank you so much for reading. Ideal outcome, get some fatherly love, guidance, and reassurance on what to do now.
Well, the only thing that I was focusing on is the lack of the relationship you feel with communicating or being able to talk to your dad to get to communicate. And my answer has always been put the message out in your mind that you are communicating, and just listen in your head what he is saying. You may think, well, that's just my interpretation, what I think he would say. Just consider it's what he's saying and see what that answer is for that advice. And he may have that answer for you if you just listen to yourself, as he's might be funneling that information right into you. You got to really listen to your inner being.
Mm-hmm. I also think the best way to honor someone is, be happy, think of them. But your dad would want you to go out and live life to the fullest and do what makes you happy. And right now, you don't know what that is, right? You're lost. You don't know what purpose. You don't know what you want to do. You say you can't do much for yourself, but you're living alone, which that is a huge, big thing to do. So you're clearly capable. I don't see any mention of a partner or kids. And if I were in your position, I would do an eat, pray, love type journey. I would pick something that you're interested in and passionate about, whether it's horses and you want to go work on a horse ranch, or hey, maybe it's wine, or you don't even like wine, but you want to go live in the south of France and experience that. There are so many places all over the world where you can go and work there, decent hours, not crazy 24/7 hours, and they give you a place to live, and then you can explore and meet people and live life. I would travel. I would see the world. I would meet people, and I would find your passion, because what you're doing right now isn't working. And you got to shake it up. You got to try something different. Your brain is in this cycle, and you got to get out of the cycle. How do you do that? Mix it up. Mix it up.
It doesn't matter what you start to do, but getting the I would be saying very on the same par that you're saying. I just say it easier. Get the motor going.
Anything.
Anything that you do is going to lead you to the next step. And it's all positive. You may find a job today that you hate tomorrow, but you at least know one more thing. Once you find you hate it tomorrow, that wasn't the job for you.
That wasn't the job.
And then you go to the next, and then you find the next thing. And if you keep doing that, you will trip into whatever it is. And look, it might be as simple as being a florist. It might be as simple as being a jockey. It could be
that's not simple.
A dolphin trainer. It could be a photographer. It could be someone that goes out and just enjoys outdoor by mowing lawns. We don't know what it is. You might end up finding medicine is so interesting that you decide, I'm going to find a way to go back to school and get a degree in chemistry and become a full-fledged brain surgeon. I don't know, but
there's so much.
But there is so much out there that you're not going to find anything if you don't engage.
No, and I think for me, when I've been in my deepest moments of depression, like doing anything sounds absolutely horrendous. horrendous. Going to a pottery class, yeah, fucking right. But most of the battle is getting there, is getting through those doors, is going to those places. It's getting there. But once you're there, you're like, oh, what was I so nervous about? Why did I put up such a fit to come here? It's so nice. This is great.
Some people pay money to go do Color Me Mine, to go get pottery and make pottery and paint it to take it home with them.
Mm-hmm.
Some people go to stores to buy pottery.
I know.
Some people, whatever you think is going to cost you to go learn to do, you may find that someone will pay you to do it. You may learn to love dance. And next thing you know is you're dancing and you become a dance teacher. Or there's always
so much.
a profession involved in something that we like to do. The most important thing is find the thing you like to do and go find a way of getting into it.
The world is your oyster. I mean, if you don't have a passport, get one. I just think there's so many opportunities out there that you could go and really adventure, whether it's Europe, Thailand, Africa. I mean, I've got a friend who after college had no idea what he wanted to do. I don't even know if he was lost or if he just wanted a good time. I don't know. But Dave decided, I'm going to go teach English in another country for a couple of years. And he went to Taiwan and had the most magical experience and came back such a bigger person and really had a sense of purpose and passion after that. And if I was in your shoes, I'd be traveling abroad. Go live life and you will discover your passion and take baby steps.
The only one that's stopping
take baby steps if you need it.
And the only one that's stopping you from moving forward to do anything is you.
Yeah. I will
Get
say,
out of your own way.
I will say, it can be tough. We can be our own worst critics, our own biggest barriers, but it doesn't sound like you have much of a community. And I highly, highly recommend, we started off at the top of this episode talking about groups and groups for grief counseling or groups for, addiction and if a family member is involved in that. And I would say start talking to people who might have gone through something similar or start building your village because you don't need blood family. You can have your chosen family and that can be just as big and special as important too. So reach out and start building your village and connecting with others. And I think life will start to feel a lot easier and fuller and bigger when you do.
I agree. Are
That's
we
all I got.
gonna have number 8?
No number 8 today. No number 8.
Well, I mean, you kept going. I kept saying, well, maybe we have a number 8.
No number 8.
So we'll see you at Patreon. If you're not already a member, we encourage you to check us out and give that a try. And we want to thank you for joining us for this episode. Isn't it weird to see the different position we're in?
The different chair. Yeah, I can start to smell him from over here.
Really?
Yeah.
You're going to keep going on that. You're going to keep complaining.
He's so cute, but really, yeah, we need some
But we
puppery.
We don't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
Well, he stinks. He can't hear me. He doesn't know what that means.
God. He's fine. He's such a good guy. So Pedro, Jerry, and Morgan will all say,
Adios, amigos.
And we'll see you in the backyard, and otherwise we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.